Hi guys, I'm going to riff a little here on a problem that is developing in Connecticut. In early November, Governor Lamont signed into law a bill that was known variously as HB 5002. Then the latest version became HB 8002. And then when it was finally signed into law, it became Public Act 25 1. And it's all about taking away local control in order to be able to, shall we say, densify building in any and all of the towns in the state. Now, this has been a long running battle, all right, between the localities and the state. And on the one hand, you had a group called Segregate CT claiming that housing policy was racist. They can't help themselves, these people. It's everything's racist. Everything's racist. And so their solution to fighting racism is to have sweetheart deals with real estate developers. Yeah, that'll solve racism while you're lining your own pockets. And I have to give Desegregate CT some credit because they put a lot of effort into organizing, into providing videos, making their case, getting other groups to ally with them. It's what liberals in Connecticut do best. And in spite of that, Republicans, conservatives were fighting this stuff because the problem was what they were advertising and what they were delivering were two different things. They wanted to advertise affordable housing, enabling people of lower income to be able to live pretty much anywhere they wanted in Connecticut. But then, after a lot of controversy, um, the Democrats and Desegregate CT backpedaled and went to a model based upon being near transportation areas such as bus lines and trains. That got some traction, but it still didn't get what they wanted. And so then you had the high drama back in September, was it? Where there was a lot of pressure because the state legislature had passed it, and a lot of noise was being made about everything that was wrong with this bill, which is still wrong with the Public Act that is now in force, supposedly. Still, still, in spite of that, you know, we find people just, hey, on one hand, not listening, on the others, still bitching. So I'm on the side that's going to be bitching about this, and the group that's fighting this, CT 169 Strong, is certainly not going to take this lying down. It's just not clear to me at this point in time what sort of, quote, grand strategy the opponents are going to have in order to push against this. Certainly at the heart of it is that every legislator who voted for it has to be a target for removal in the next election. But in this very deep blue state, that may be a tall order because you're going to find that Democrats don't understand and don't care if there's going to be more crime in their neighborhood, if there's going to be more drugs and violence in their neighborhood. It doesn't matter because all they care about is having other Democrats around. Well, be happy. All right, be happy with the folks who will have their blue tarp tents set up in your town parks with cardboard doors and God knows what other things lying around, really enhancing the look of the park. This is what you asked for. But as is so often the case, the ones who are the Democrats will have trouble drawing a connection between, oh, that act that allows vagrants and homeless people to do their thing is because of this. Oh, it's signed by Governor Lamont. He's a Democrat. Everything should be okay, right? No, not even close. So where are we going to go with this, I guess is my question. CT 169 Strong, I think, is probably still putting a plan together. And the sense is that the Democrats, well, let me go back to this point. So, State Senator Rob Sampson, who is the guy who's usually the point man fighting this kind of nonsense, had explained how in early November when the Democrats called this phony emergency session in order to justify dragging everybody in to pass this bill. All the procedures were forgotten. There were no hearings, there were no debates, public wasn't involved. This was a rush job if there was ever a rush job. And they made sure that they did it after the election because they knew what would happen before the election. Plus, they're betting that, Connecticut voters will forget. They won't care and everything will be fine. Well, newsflash, Democrats in Hartford, we're not forgetting. And I'm certainly going to be working with as many people as I can to bring forward every form of protest, every form of confrontation, every form of activity that can be done to make it clear to you that you made a big mistake. And in the process, even though it's a tall order, you can be sure that we're going to be working on fielding the best candidates possible in all the Democrat districts that we can. And I say this recognizing, by the way, that from election cycle to election cycle, it's the same sad story. There are exceptions, but it's the same sad story. And that is that we have 151 state representative districts in Connecticut. And every time there's about 20 of them where the Democrats go unchallenged. 20 out of 151. That's pretty bad. So I don't know what can be done about putting people up in those districts because the Republicans just don't seem to be as organized and determined as they should be. But, you know, in my opinion, we're not going to let this go by. So something has to be done. So all I can say is, with respect to what Yankee T News does, and others, stay tuned because, I'm going to, at least in my part, to try and draw as many people together as we can and quickly field a plan of action here. Petitions, rallies, social media, panel discussions around the state. Betsy McCoy has already jumped in on this, and I think there's one coming up, or they had one, was it 2 days ago, in Manchester. There'll be more like that. You know, she's going to do a road trip. Others will join in, and hopefully some momentum will build. Yeah, just not quite sure what that's going to look like over the next few months, but stay tuned. Stay tuned because I'm going to let you know. All right. So later.